care of that. Hopefully this will be better now. All right. So thank you very much for having me. It's I always love coming to STC and presenting on various topics. I did something nice about a year ago on freelancing. I'd done one long time back with STC on working as a tech writer in Canada. And this in the recent past, there was a gesture on WhatsApp or one of the groups where someone offered to, review someone's resume and said, I'll review as many resumes as I get. And I love that gesture. And I thought, why don't I do something where I can also help the community with this job search? And I've been getting a lot of calls, emails, communication, the recent about 1.5, 2 years saying, what is the best way of reaching out, getting projects, freelancing, getting jobs. So I thought, let's do a workshop. Nothing better than STC as a platform to do that. And I'm really glad to see a lot of people I've either worked with, working with, a lot of people I know from the community. So thanks a lot for coming. Now I'm going to go through in the interest of time. I request you to hold your questions. We will have a session later, and whatever I cannot answer, I'll definitely get back to you on that. But does your LinkedIn profile roar? And you can see here, you do need a LinkedIn profile, a roaring LinkedIn profile. The reason is, um, everything happens on LinkedIn these days or some kind of social media platform. And I know there's so much out there that some of you must be thinking, God, I'm having a LinkedIn fatigue or some kind of a social media fatigue. But I started using LinkedIn since 2009, which is when I went to Canada. And over there, you know, looking for a job is not possible unless you're on LinkedIn. 80% of jobs are actually communicated and filled via LinkedIn, right? So hopefully by end of this session, what my goal is that you will know some lesser known secrets of LinkedIn. I'm not going to go into the basic stuff that you can find on Google. This all I'm going to talk to you about is some street smart, being smart on LinkedIn, stuff that you may not know existed on LinkedIn, and techniques and methodologies to finding projects. Are you guys able to hear me fine? Okay, I am guessing you
Yes,
are.
Sumedh, yes.
Thank you. Um, I would like you to know the importance and appreciate the power of a large network. Just recently, I think Nibu, who's on the call, started a discussion on LinkedIn. Who do you connect with? Should you know all your network connections personally? I have a take on that. I'll go through and I'll talk to you about what the importance of a large network is. Learn techniques of engaging with your audience. Like, share, that's great, but there are a lot of other things we can do to connect with our audience and be able to hack LinkedIn to get a direct entry to the hiring manager. I think a lot of us still send out a resume to hr@company.org or com and wait for a HR or a recruiter or talent acquisition executive to call you back. That no longer has to be so. You can do something proactively without being nagging, without being pushy. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about, getting a backdoor entry to the hiring manager. And what I call LinkedIn is not an active job search. When you are sending out 15 resumes a week and you're offering your services on LinkedIn by declaring that you are immediate joiner, you're looking for a job, I don't believe that's the best way of going about it because you sound a little desperate and companies tend to be less interested in desperate people. So um, the best use of LinkedIn is basically when you start getting incoming projects, offers, and incoming connections. You're not doing anything, which is why I call it a passive job search technique. Okay, and we'll look at all of that in a lot of detail. So why should you listen to me? I've been in tech writing for 20 years, but what makes me want to come here and talk about LinkedIn, which is not my, my bread and butter. Well, it used to be for some time. When I was in Canada, I used to do profile makeovers, help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, sole proprietors market their services on LinkedIn. Financial planners, insurance agent, real estate agents, doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. So, uh, Anne was one of my students at George Brown College, where I taught. I was the lead instructor there for 9 years in technical writing. I took a 3-month course in social media. I learned more about LinkedIn on how to maximize it for search, for work in 2-hour presentation given by Sumedh. He knows his topic, so on and on. You can read all of these on my LinkedIn profile. I have about 48 LinkedIn recommendations, spanning from my LinkedIn process all the way down to my writing and training and all of that. I had the privilege of attending Sumedh's presentation, so and so and so. Within a week of going through his advice, I had already received an email regarding a job opportunity. This is what I want to happen for all of you, or people who are looking for jobs, looking for freelance work. This is the kind of things that I would really want. And if this is not happening right now for those who are interested, then yeah, I'm not sure about the recording. I'll leave that to Abhijit to comment on later on. So, very briefly, you probably have, as Abhijit said, read my bio. I won't spend time on going through who I am, but I've been in tech writing, training, and editing about 20 years. Worked with HP and Cisco and Philips in California for about 8 or 9 years. I had my own documentation services company in Toronto for about 9 years. Um, uh, Before going, when I was in Pune, I was manager of tech pubs in Persistent Systems in Karve Road, Kothurud. Um, I was the lead instructor for about 8 or 9 years in George Brown College. And I've been a visiting faculty on and off at BITS Pilani, Pune Institute of Business Management, Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies, Tirak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth. And I was on a panel of some sort and was a guest speaker at Rotman School of Business, which is part of the UFT, which is University of Toronto. Okay, more about that you can see on my LinkedIn profile. Again, these are all stats which I don't want to spend a lot of time on, but people who have not looked at some of the stats in the recent past, 600 million users, and in the next couple of years, they want to have close to 3 billion users on LinkedIn, okay, in the next couple of years. About two profiles are created on LinkedIn a second. That's 175 new, 1,000 new profiles a day. Um, yeah, last year alone, there were 50 million uh, profiles created, brand new. But apart from that, what really intrigues me is how do I break into that hidden job market? There are a lot of technical writers, a lot of people who reach out to me and say, so when I'm moving to Canada, I've just moved to Canada. How do I get a job? I'm finding it really, really difficult. And this is how to do it. This is exactly how I did it when I went to Canada initially. Here's a typical scenario, right, which is happening today, regardless of a pandemic, forget that. But the company I work for recently downsized. Obviously, that means that they let people go. Start looking for jobs online. And this is what you need to do. I looked through my contacts that worked or were connected to the companies that were hiring. And I'm going to do a case study at the end to really show you the practical aspects of how to do this. I saw a first degree connection who was connected to the hiring manager in this company. I requested an introduction, got my resume directly in front of the hiring manager, bypassing the HR. That's a typical scenario. And people don't leverage LinkedIn like this. Okay, they just sit there waiting, they just search for jobs online and they apply for the jobs online. But this is beyond steps 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is what we'll be talking about. If you're not leveraging LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn, you're not in focus. And by that, I mean, um, you're not getting, there's no prospecting. You're not prospecting. You should be prospecting, which means you should be going after the potential companies that are looking, potential companies who don't have a tech writing team or a large project management team who might need a freelancer, either a project manager or a technical writer, and search out opportunities. They're there. They're there in plain sight. As I said, passive job search, incoming queries, being found and contacted. Maybe I need a technical writer today for my company. Okay. But When I search for a technical writer in Pune, in Chennai, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, on LinkedIn, I get 10,000 hits. What makes you stand out? How do you make sure that you are one of the top 3, 4, 5, or 10 on my list when I search? That's what we'll see, and we'll talk about how to optimize so you are found. Getting noticed as an expert and creating your personal brand. We had a session from Trivandrum chapter last week or 2 weeks back on personal branding. If you haven't gone there, go back. The recording was shared, but this is basically one way of creating that personal branding, right? So we'll talk about how to be found and get noticed. Um, and sorry if I'm being a little rushed, but I want to get through these mundane things first. I really want to hit on the thing that matters most, right? So here's what you have to do to being to ensuring that you're being found, okay, which is essential. You have to find your keywords and optimize your profile. Find your keywords, optimize your profile. Easier said than done. We all know SEO, but how many of us are able to get our name on the first page of Google, right? It's not easy. So I'm going to break it down for you. Your network, as I said, you need a massive network. 600 million people on this. If you're connected to 4 or 5 thousand people, you're barely reaching out to 100 million, or not even that many. We are basically reaching out to a network of 60, 70 million, which is barely even scratching the surface, right? So it's not about just who you know on LinkedIn, but how many you know on LinkedIn. And I will get into that a little bit more with when we talk about the 3 degrees of separation. You want to be looked at as a top of the list expert. Today, if you have a problem in data, if you have an issue in FrameMaker structured, if you have an issue with any kind of robo help issue, who do you think of first? Okay, there's table, there is hackers. There's so many people you think of first, where you'll see, hey, have they shared tips? You want to become one of those people in within your community. So you should be the data expert, structured authoring expert, information mapping expert, project management methodology expert in Pune, in your community, in your company. So you can make that happen, and we'll see how. And finally, as I said, we'll look at a real case study where I'll search for a job on LinkedIn that hypothetically you want to apply to, and then we will actually go and see how to leverage LinkedIn to get that backdoor entry to the hiring manager. Okay, so typically, here are the steps you have to do. Number one, we talked about these keywords. Okay, so your headline, your tagline, right? You have a headline which is really important. uh, you want to be able to figure out a 4 to 5 word phrase that best describes you, your skills, your domain, your technology, and add it to your headline. I'm not just going to beat around the bush and give you the theory. We will actually create your headline today in the next 5 minutes. Okay. SEO profile. When you SEO your profile or search engine optimize your profile, what are you optimizing it for? Is it your domain? Is it your vertical that you work in? Is it technology? Is it the role? Is it the fact that you're a project manager in a manufacturing industry, or are you just a project manager across all boards and domains, right? So that is what you have to optimize for. And I'll give you some great tips on how to do that. Okay. Um, if you have not, go and search for word cloud. Okay, I would search for word clouds, and there is a word cloud that I'm going to talk about in a minute. um, the word cloud is a great tool to sort of get a list of all the keywords that are in a job description. So let me get to that in a minute. um, and then finally, you want a big network. Now we all can connect with each other. Okay, some of us might be connected to 10 people first degree connections, some might have 4,000. The best people to connect to are people who have a massive first degree connection base. Okay, and we'll get into that in a minute. What I mean by a super connector is, you've seen on LinkedIn, Everyone who has more than 500 connections, it LinkedIn just shows it at 500 plus. You don't know if they have 501, or like Nibu was saying the other day, he has 13,000 connections first degree, right? So you don't know. But this is your best cue. You want to connect with people who are more than 500, and I'll get into the reasons why in just about a minute. So here is your 4 to 5 word phrase. Okay, let's say senior manager of quality in testing, and you're in manufacturing. Okay, that's what you are doing. That's what you want to get a job as. I would break this down and say quality assurance manager, manufacturing. That makes it 4 words. That describes who you are within 4 words in your tagline, in your headline. Okay, or database administrator, Oracle, and DB2. Usually, when recruiters, when talent acquisition guys search for a database, they will go by DBA, database administrator, database, or not even database administrator, Oracle, DBA, Oracle. Okay. Now, what happens is when you have a keyword like this, okay, a phrase of keywords, it actually ranks you on any combination. So it treats this as an or. So if any of these words appear in the search string of your searcher, you will appear, and based on the number of hits you get for the keywords, you will either appear higher up or lower down. Okay. um, Suppose you're a tech writer, of course, being a STC, how can I leave out tech writing from my examples? So you're a tech writer in point of sale, CRM, or API. Okay, maybe you're a tech writer trainer in CRM and API. Okay, so you can give that. Um, Again, what you have to do is search up terms and say, is documentation the trending word right now, or is technical writer a trending word right now? Keep in mind, your LinkedIn profile is not a frozen piece of artifact. It's a living document. You have to keep changing it, updating it based on what your client, what your prospect, what your hiring manager is requiring from you. And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Um, if you get it too long, like, then you'll say, Sumedh, why don't I just make it database administrator, DBA, and Oracle and DB2. Well, that's too many words. You're not going to be found in any of the results because it's too long. It's going to dilute you, right? No one search for that big a string. They generally search for DBA, Oracle. That's it. Fine. Again, if you have questions, please jot them down. We'll get to that at the end. So this is what a word cloud looks like. Okay, and I haven't opened up a word cloud tool. I forgot, but there was something called Wordle.net. Okay, Wordle.net, and that is one of the best word cloud tools out there. Um, so I won't go through and demo it all to you, but basically what you do is you go to a job search, search out the job that you really are interested in. You copy the job description. Okay, you go into create, and you just paste it here and click go. What that is going to do is give you a word search like this. Okay, and you can see here that some of these words are more prominent: technology, program, students, um, maybe information, integrated, or here social media, Facebook. These are the kinds of words out of that whatever 100 words that you copy pasted from job description. This shows you the most important keywords. Now, why do I say that? Because I've been using word clouds like this to apply for jobs for the longest time. I was struggling when I went to Canada. I found out about this method. I'll tell you, within, it was like an overnight um, sensation where I suddenly started getting calls from recruiters. Um, and now what I do is, instead of applying when I'm desperately looking for a job, instead of applying to 10 jobs a week or a day, I spend my time going through and tailoring my resume. I apply for 3 jobs in a week, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to get at least 2, if not all 3 callbacks. Okay, callback. I'm not getting all 3 offers, maybe not, but I mean, that's a separate discussion. I'm happy to have another session on just resumes and how to apply for a resume, create a resume, cover letter, and all that. But what you do is when you're creating a resume, you peel out these keywords from the job description, and you, as I said here, you sprinkle them um, generously in your resume. The reason is this: nowadays, when you apply for a job, the same position is getting, I don't know, 50, 60, or 100, or at least 20 or 30 open people applying for it, right? There's no human being, no HR person sitting there sifting through your resumes manually anymore. Your resume is put through what's known as an ATS, an applicant tracking system. And the applicant tracking system pretty much uses the same algorithm as these word clouds are using. So they actually go through your resume, rank you against the job description that has been put out, and based on the number of keywords and how many times each keyword appears, it ranks you higher or lower. And you all know that HR only takes top 3, 4, or 5. They don't take the top 10 or 15 anymore because there are far too many applying for this, right? So when it comes to resumes, it's fine. You have one job description, you're tailoring your resume for that. Great, easy enough. How the hell do you do it for a LinkedIn profile, which is your life? It's not one job, it's whatever you have done in the past, your interests, your hobbies, your volunteering work, certifications, all the past jobs. So, what you do is you think about the job that you are looking for next. Okay, you go to the domain websites. If you want to be a .NET developer, go to Microsoft, go to companies who hire those kind of people. Do this for 10 to 15 job descriptions. List out all the keywords you get from the Wordle.net or any of the word cloud tools for that job. Now compare all the keywords you've listed across 10 jobs. Okay. What you're getting is actually 10 keywords from one job. You're doing that for 10 job descriptions. At the end, you should have close to 90 or 100 keywords. Out of those, anything that is common, okay, 20 or 30 or maybe 15, 20 are going to be common. Those are definitely worthy of having on your resume, because that is what 10 people are looking for. 10 companies are looking for the same thing, right? So I think that is going to be the deal maker or the deal breaker here when you do that. In my past, I don't know, 7, 8 years, I must have interviewed close to 200 to 300 candidates, hired more than 20, 30 candidates. A lot of these people, I can see that they're just sending out resumes that is cookie cutter. They send out one resume and they send it out to whatever jobs they're applying to. Bad idea. Okay, but anyway, I don't want to digress into resumes. Um, so go to different domain websites, look at the companies that they're hiring, what kind of jobs, the keywords they're looking at, look at what they do, look at their, and then pull out the keywords from their about us, what we do, from the job descriptions, and then put keywords in your LinkedIn profile. Now, now you have a list of keywords. Where do you put them in your LinkedIn profile? Okay, so that is the next thing that we'll look at. Um, so there are 5 locations within LinkedIn profile where it's critical for you to have your keywords. One, your headline, okay, which is where the DBA, the Oracle, the Sybase, the CRM, the Microsoft Dynamics, okay, all those things come in right there, headline. Second, your current and your previous jobs. So if you have done accounting, if you have done project management, if you have used a certain waterfall, agile, scrum, Kanban, Andon chart, whatever it is, put them there, because that is really what companies will be looking for if those appear in your keyword searches. So have it in your headline, those keywords, in your current job, in your previous job, definitely in your summary. You have 1,000 characters worth of a summary space that LinkedIn gives you. Don't waste it by saying I'm a technical writer, or I've done this or I've done that. What you have done doesn't really matter. What matters is how can you solve someone's problem? What is it that the hiring manager is looking for? If you haven't heard of this term, it's really good to know at the back of your mind. It's called WIFM, right? What's in it for me? When you are looking at someone's resume and they're touting their own horn, you're like, yeah, ठीक है यार, मेरे से क्या लेना देना है उसका? You are great, you are fine, okay, cool, you are such a smart guy, you know data, you know everything. मुझको क्या? The same thing now, put yourself in the hiring manager's shoes and ask him, what's in it for him to hire me? What can I offer to the guy in other, over and above just saying, I've done BA, I've done BCom, I've done MA, and I'm a gold medalist. No, that doesn't matter. What can you do for me? So you can put here what you can do for them. Okay. Um, and then your skills and endorsements. Um, yeah, I'll get to the question, Komal. Thanks for that. Um, put it into your endorsements, definitely, right? And you can get endorsed by a lot of people. Rob Hanna is a taxonomist, a certified taxonomist, one of very few. He's a CEO of Precision Diagnostics in Toronto. If people like that are endorsing you for a certain skill, or even people that are well known in the community in the industry, that's really going to make your profile smart. Okay. Um, as I said, don't don't toot your own horn, let others do it for you. It's very, very important for you to start getting recommendations on LinkedIn on an ongoing basis. Don't think, yeah, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. You procrastinate, and then when you're hunting for a job, the job also procrastinates coming to you. Okay, that is my belief, that when you want to search for a job, is not the right time to be doing your groundwork. Your groundwork has to be continuously. You don't start building your house the day you want to move in. Okay. For me, LinkedIn profile is just like building a house. You have to start 2 years before, then you can move in 2 years later. Um, so it gives you a lot of visibility. Not only should you ask for recommendations, but also give recommendations. Why? Because it gives you visibility on their page, and it makes you seem important. Hey, if someone is asking me for a recommendation, I must be worth giving a recommendation, right? So it also makes a big difference. Now we talked a little bit about your headline, but I told you, I promised you that by end of the session you will have created a headline. So please work with me for the next 2 minutes. Let's try and create a headline for you. Okay. There are two types of headlines. It can be keyword packed, or it can be a power statement. You decide what you're more comfortable with. Okay. So um, here's one. Oops, don't jump the gun, buddy. Okay, go back. Solving urgent leadership problems. When your CEO steps down, I step up. Sorry, it's not refreshed and it's coming up now. Okay, the very first one. Solving urgent leadership problems. When your CEO steps down, I step in. Is this, what kind of a statement is this? Is this a power statement or a keyword? Definitely it's a power statement, right? Whereas the next one, engineering executive, English and French fluent. I mean, if you're in Canada, if you're in an African country, that really makes a big deal. If you're fluent or if you're bilingual, in a certain language, say it. Six Sigma black belt and strategic leader. Fine. I sell your home in 21 days or I buy it. This is very common for a real estate. And sorry, a lot of my examples will come from the Canadian background. Um, Also, when I get into the LinkedIn, because I have not optimized my LinkedIn profile for India, I'm still on my, I don't know why, but I'm still on my Canada time zone when it comes to LinkedIn. But um, IT specialist devoted to creating a stable, scalable solution for small business. Okay, so these are all different types. Again, helping companies translate their business goals and ideas to operational reality and positive ROI. What, think of it, what is the searching guy going to search for this to come up? Nothing except for ROI. And ROI is not a good search term because everyone can give an ROI. Depends what your return is you're looking at. 1%, everyone can give. 29%, only the most volatile stocks can give you, right? So I'm not a fan of these long uh, kind of, this is not really a power statement. So I wanted to differentiate between what I said before and now, which is limited to 4 or 5 words. Don't go overboard and write an essay in your headline. That's not an headline. This is like a complete article for me. Okay, so you'll have to be a bit judicious about that. So let's try this. Okay, begin with an adjective. I'm an expert. I'm skilled. I'm certified. Certified PMP, certified Scrum Master. Great, sounds great. I'm dynamic. I'm effective. I'm innovative, gifted, whatever. I mean, these are examples. You can pick any of your adjectives. I'm a born leader. You know, um, look at the role or a position that you want to go for. IT recruiter, developer, .NET developer, Java, IT consultant, iOS mobile developer, Android mobile developer, KitKat if you want to be specific in the Android mobile developer. Perfect. Okay. Project manager, obviously. So start with an adjective. I'm a skilled project manager, okay, or I'm a freelance technical writer, and then choose a methodology. I mean, if you, as I said, if you have been working on your life on a CRM or a Salesforce or any kind of a technology domain platform, and you want to sell yourself based on that skill, have that. Google Analytics. Um, okay. You can add a suffix. I'm not a big fan because I don't like to call myself a guru. Guru is someone that I feel others should consider you a guru rather than me calling myself one. Doesn't really make sense. Or you can be an optimizer. You can be a specialist. That's fine. And you can use bullets quite a lot. Not every bullet is allowed on LinkedIn. There are certain bullets, and you can search for bullets allowed on LinkedIn. Um, One tip that I can give you when you're working on summary, create your summary in Word with the bullets and formatting and all that you want, and then copy and paste that, because it's not possible to insert bullets in the summary section in a LinkedIn profile. Okay, but if you put bullets in Word and copy paste it, the bullets get transferred. But try to use these bullets. These are the ones that are allowed on LinkedIn. All right. Now we talked about having a big network. What I'm going to do at the end of the session is I'm going to share a list of 50 super connectors with all of you on this call. Okay, what it does is, this is me. Okay, me in my little corner looking for a job. Now imagine this. Right now, if I was the only person on Zoom talking, would I not feel stupid? Right? But I know I can see that there are 51 participants on the call right now. I am more eager to talk than I would be if I was the only person. So having you as the only person on LinkedIn is like talking to yourself or talking to a wall, which we don't want to do. What happens is when you start creating a big network, okay, what you're doing is actually not connecting to that one person. You're bringing in the first and second degree connections of that person. So when I actually connect to 1300 people, I'm actually connected to 1300 people as first degree, but I'm connected to about 19 million people that are their second degree connections. Okay, this is an important aspect. Please try to understand that. When I connect with someone like, again, I keep thinking of Nibu's name because we just had that interaction just 2 days back. But if I connect just with one person, I have one first degree connection on LinkedIn, which is Nibu Thomas. He has 13,000 connections. automatically I am now having access to, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 million people uh, that are in his second and third degree connections. His second degree, his first degree become my second, his third degree, his second become my third, and that is it. That is why I said there is a 3 degrees of separation. If you don't know, I'll break it down. If someone is searching for you and you're not in the third degree connection, they are not able to see you, or they are not able to find you, or not able to contact you through LinkedIn. So the bigger the network, the better chance of you finding the right skill that you might be looking for, as well as being found by the people that are looking for your skills. Okay. Again, as I said, super connectors, 500 plus connection folks. There's, first degree connection who have more than 500. Those are the people you want to be connecting with. For me, unknown people on LinkedIn are far more important than friends. I know my friends. I know what kind of company they work in, what kind of community they hang out in, what kind of friends they have. Okay. With unknown people, all I need is one recruiter that is in that unknown person's network who's searching for a tech writer, and I get the call from him or her. So for me, it does not matter whether I know the person or not. I connect with them all. Okay. The reason is I want to get a wide network. I want to get more people in my network. Not everyone is going to be sharing and tagging and endorsing and being active on LinkedIn. I'm not active on LinkedIn very much. But because of my network, maybe someone who's connected to me could be getting a call for a job any day, anytime, right? Um, you can help your connections by sharing, by introducing them to people, by tagging their likes and tagging their articles and posts. Basically, splash around, be everywhere, be seen on LinkedIn. The more you're seen on LinkedIn, the higher the chance that you're going to be found. Okay. And of course, engage with your audience, and we'll go through that of how to engage. Couple of techniques to do that. And this is what I feel. Life without a solid network on LinkedIn is tough. Okay, try to push that Sienna on your own. This is what your network does for your job search, your skills, and your freelance opportunities and gigs and projects. Okay, um, absolutely, they're going to be, um, you're going to be stating, status updates is definitely one way to go. You can follow companies, you can share, like, and comment on people's posts. Especially go out and seek a little controversial post. If someone says, um, if someone says something that you don't agree with, jump in and give your thought. You give a paradigm shift, give a other side of the coin. That's what people like to see, that you're not going with the flow. You're not part of the flock, but you're leading the flock, saying, hey, no, 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 here's another way of doing it. I don't agree with what you just said. Okay. One of the big metrics is who has viewed your profile. Okay. Um, and if you haven't been tracking that, it is something you should be doing. So let me know when you can. Okay. So if you go into LinkedIn, right, on your homepage, you can see that. Sorry, I'm trying to open a screen here, and I will come back to it when it does. Fine. It's not going. Let's not waste time. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm back. Um, right. So if you go to your LinkedIn profile on the home page, you see here, right, who has viewed your profile, and it says here 171. Okay. This 171 is in the last 90 days. Okay. And I'll show you how to increase the number. and what I did to increase my numbers when on an on demand. I don't do it all the time. Whose video profile? Be alive on groups. There are, as I said, how many groups are there? Like lots of groups, million groups or 6 million groups or something. Look out the group where your prospects are hanging out. If you're looking for a freelance work, go into the group that is in your domain. Okay. Look for companies uh, that are looking for your kind of a talent. Okay. And what you can do is actually post and reply to posts on LinkedIn in those groups. Okay. So search out groups, endorse and recommend, because the more you endorse and recommend, the more you appear on your network's pages or profiles. And of course, easiest thing is to congratulate them on a anniversary, new job, all those things. One of the best ways of doing something like this is when you actually go out and join groups and start becoming very, very active on groups. Okay. And definitely, if you give these kind of sessions and all that, you'll see that your response rate suddenly goes up. Now I'm just going to go here. Okay, let me click on who's viewed your profile. Now, what happened here? What happened here is I was not doing anything. This was just going up and down, up and down, up and down. It was on a pilot. Okay. Today is July 18th. On July 15th, I actually started doing something on LinkedIn, which is engaging my audience and doing a couple of other things. And look at this, from 14 views, it went to 33 views in a matter of 2 days. Now, if I continue doing this over a month, a year, 6 months, 2 years, imagine the kind of traffic you're going to get. And it does not mean that I spent the entire 3 hours of my evening on LinkedIn. No, no, no. I spent about 5 to 7 minutes a day for last 3 days to get this rise. Okay. Um, One of the other stats that you should be looking at is your notifications, right? So I just got, you can see who viewed your profile. Why is this so important? Who viewed your profile? Because if someone is viewing your profile, that tells me that they've already, I'm a warm person. They warmed up to me. They've looked at my profile because they liked something they saw on my profile, right? So these people are known as the warm prospects. You don't have to cold break them. You don't have to do a cold calling. All you have to do is go in and say, "Oh, hey Gunjan, I noticed that you had a peek at my resume, at my LinkedIn profile the other day, and it says 2 minutes ago, so it's actually happening real time. And I'm going through and seeing, okay, I know two people in common. I can reach out to Gunjan, just message and say, hey, thanks very much for taking a peek at my resume or my profile. How can I help? Is there anything specific?" And I will show you some examples of how to do that. Okay. Now, let me show you a few things. What I mean by passive income, or passive, not passive income, passive incoming job search. Okay. Here is a person, a lady, out of the blue. I don't know her, didn't know her. I still don't know her that well. But my LinkedIn profile once upon a time said that I'm a coach, LinkedIn coach. And she just sent me a connection request. Okay. Again, there was nothing, no personalization, comment, no message, just said, Hazel invited you to connect with her. So being who I am, I told you I don't not connect with anyone. I just went and I offered her a personal thank you, saying, "Hey Hazel, thanks for connecting." Um, and I think one message she told me was that she was looking for an expert, LinkedIn expert. So I said, "Let me know how I can help you with your LinkedIn needs. Have a great weekend." Uh, and then she came back and said, "I have a women business network in Norway and wanted to have a LinkedIn workshop." There you go. That's it. Okay. And then we went on and we switched to and we switch to email conversation from then on. But this is all it takes. Just a connection request from an unknown person and says, Sumedh, I in Oslo, I want a connection, a LinkedIn net seminar or webinar, and I used to do a lot of net LinkedIn speaking at that time. Okay, so would this not have been an awesome opportunity for me? I think absolutely. Um, Secondly, when you are connected to people, they actually share things with you, which is great. This guy, okay, just sent me something the other day, 3 days back. Senior technical writer at Philips. This is remote. I looked it up, and this is a remote-based job from in the US. Okay, he just sent it to me. Said, "Hey, you do a lot of freelancing. You know some people uh, share this around, and great. So now I can either get in touch with Wendy if I'm really looking, or I can get in touch with Sheldon and say, hey, what more do you know about this job? Okay, but and you can see I've been talking to this guy quite a lot, right? We've been spending a lot of time talking. I know this guy. So, but this is what you do. This is what you need to do with your contacts. And I'm looking at the time. I'm going to just give you one more example of what to do when you're actually looking for a technical writing position. Okay. Sorry, an actual opening. So I've searched up something randomly. I searched up for a project manager in India. Okay. And let's say, since we were just talking about, Philips, I'll go project manager in Philips. Philips is a big company. It's a massive, well-known company. Um, Great. I click on project manager Philips. Okay. And I see that I have 8 connections here. Now I go through this job. You apply. There's absolutely no question that you don't apply. But how many people are they going to get resumes from for this project manager job? Plenty. I can tell you at least 100, if not more, maybe 50, 60, 80. So what you do is you actually click on this, okay, and look for people you know. And who would you go with on this? He's a technical writer, Shardul, now a good friend, met him at the nice workshop that I did last year on freelancing, and we connected on LinkedIn. Hey, he's a technical writer at Philips. If I wanted this job, I would reach out to Shardul, said, Yar, can you please submit my resume? At least give me who the bloody hiring manager is for that job. Okay. And so on. IIT alumni, fine. Yash, great technical writer, customer service. Nitish, who's on this call right now, um, innovation engineer. Himanshu, okay, but who am I going to first? HR recruitment coordinator. What more do you want? You reach out to Madhvi and say, hey Madhvi, I'm looking for this post. I think I'm qualified. Can you please get me in touch with the right person or internally submit my resume? Okay, you have applied. You will probably get an email from Philips saying we have received your application and we are reviewing it, and might take some time, and only the shortlisted candidates will be contacted. Great. Go out here, reach out to Madhavi. All you have to do is message her and say, hey Madhavi, can you you know I, can you please help and do something for me? If Madhavi doesn't respond, there are 8 others. Now, why do I have 8 other people that I can reach out to? Because I have 4,000 odd connections first degree, which means that I have suddenly a very wide network in my within my LinkedIn network that I can reach out to. Okay, so that was one example. Let me give you another very quick example of what happens when you don't have a well-connected LinkedIn network. Okay, um, very quickly, project manager, smart analyst. Okay, and if you see here, you have zero connections in this company. I don't have anyone that is working in this company, right? So now you click on add, and these are all the hacks that I was talking to you about. You click on add and you say, okay, managing director Ranjit, smart analyst, executive director, okay, smart analyst and CEO. Okay, so you suddenly got in touch with the, the top guy at smart analyst, but you're going down and looking for what kind of a job is this? This is the project manager job. Okay, and you just keep going down. Head of business development. You think Ashley can help you. Okay, what I would do is I would click here and I would reach out to Caesar, who is a common connection between me and Ashley. You can see here, Caesar is my first degree connection. Message to him, yo, Caesar, what's up, man? How are you doing? Been a while that we last talked. Really need your help. How well do you know Ash or Ashley or whatever? How well do you know her? Do you think you could put me in touch with her? And Ashley will hopefully submit my resume internally to Smart Analyst, VP, whatever, hiring manager, recruiter, whatever that person may be. Okay. So reach out to people and this can happen when you have a very wide network. And when you only keep talking to people you know, or who you are friends with, or you have worked with, or who go to the same temple and you see them every day, ah, uh, I would not have met Ashley had it not been for Caesar. And I don't know Caesar. I connected with Caesar because he's a lion, which is a LinkedIn open networker. Either he sent me an invite or I sent him an invite. Look at this. You don't just out of the blue get 850 shared connections. We are open networkers. I don't call myself that, but I open with everyone, connect. And because of this guy, I now have access to Ashley. Okay, I think I've spoken enough about why you need a big network. Let me actually show you how this really happens in and how it really happened for me. Um, what happens is there was a similar opening for I think it was a documentation manager position. Okay, so I searched for this.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
Sumedh. Uh, how far we are going to go ahead?
I think it'll be another 5 minutes, and then we can start the question and answers.
Okay, thanks.
5 minutes. Yeah, thanks. Um, so there was an opening for a documentation manager. I think I looked on LinkedIn just like I showed you right now, and I saw someone was connected to on LinkedIn. And very quickly, let me go here. This is the person. Okay, I'd connected with him. We had connected back in 2017. Okay, great to connect with you, Maruti. Thanks for the invite. We're in the same line of work. I would love to connect over phone and have a quick chat with you sometime. Uh, Same day, he responded saying, great, my cell number is so and so. We had a chat. This was in 2017. Come 2019, can we get in touch sometime? I tried calling your number, but he called me back and I sent him this email. Maruti, resume for a technical documentation manager. Okay. I said I have already applied and so on and so forth. He actually told me that he'll get me in touch with the HR person. Okay. Um, and what you know, hi Sumedh, greetings from Philips. We are pleased to inform you that you are shortlisted. So it happened just like that, right? Whether I got the job or whether you get the job or that gig doesn't matter. What matters is you are getting in front of the people that are the decision makers. After that, it's not your social media skills, it's your domain, it's your technical skills after that, right? So that is what I wanted to go through. And if you're not constantly interacting with your network and sharing and posting, this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to fall off the cliff, right? There are some ways that you can automate um, these things. So if you do about 20 posts a month, it reaches about 60% of your audience. Okay, 20 posts a month. That's not a small amount. And so on and so forth. Um, right? There's some. Check out these things. eGrabber, social media oomph, social oomph. These are all sites that do a lot of prospecting for you, that can connect you with people you don't really know on LinkedIn personally. These are paid sites, but LinkedIn Jetpack, what really it does, and there are others also, where you get a lot of recommendation requests and you don't want to spend a lot of time writing it. So what you do is you just put the name, the position and all that, and in any one of them, LinkedIn Jetpack, Social Recommender, it actually spits out a recommendation for you. So the people like me, the lazy lot, you take it and then you just tweak it a bit rather than writing from scratch. So these are some smart ways of working. And again, I will tell you the importance of recommendations. So the other two recommendations I showed you were about my LinkedIn, but now this lady says that is very professional, presentations are very informative. I believe that he's one of the best instructors that I got to know, and looking forward for another course at George Brown. Now whenever I'm applying for a training position, I would include a recommendation like this that talks about my training. If I'm going for a gig, for a speaking gig on LinkedIn, I would have the other two, you know, and I have 48 to choose from. As I said, get a lot of LinkedIn recommendations on your resume, please. This was again about, I had done a session on robo help at Eclipses. Sumedh helped us resolve queries. So it also talks about not only my robo help skills, but also my presentation skills and the fact that I do workshops at corporates. And this was back in 2010. Um, that's it from me, guys. I mean, the last thing is just, I've already shown you the case study where you search a job, you customize your resume, you apply, you search for people on LinkedIn, you get introduced to the manager or the talent acquisition person who is working in that company, you get the interview, and fingers crossed you'll crack it. Okay, so here's what you should be doing for those of you who are just getting started or not very happy with your LinkedIn profile. You will get this deck obviously, but what I'm also going to do is I will share with you uh, a profile. I'm going to share with you a checklist of things you should be doing on LinkedIn. Okay, your profile pic and this and that and whatever. So I will share that with you. Please reach out to me, send me an email whenever you get a chance, and I will send it out to you. Thank you very much. I know I'm 5 to 10 minutes over, but I really wanted to cover everything, and this is a huge topic to cover in 45 minutes or less. So thank you for your patience, and I will straight away go to questions. You can feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what questions you have.
Sumedh, there are certain things on chat. Some writers.
Yeah, and I'm going through the chat. Yeah, please go ahead. Recording session, I won't get into that. I'll leave that. How many? Okay, so how about someone? And again, I will continue answering questions for however long it takes. If people need to drop off, please. It's a weekend. It's family time. How about someone is starting as a fresher after taking sabbatical for a few years? um, how can we make such a profile effective? Well, a sabbatical doesn't really matter. What matters is what you are going to be offering the people now, right? So everything that I have said still stands. um, you're s- it's a sabbatical, which means you're not a fresher getting into the job market for the first time. You've already worked, then you took 3 4 5 6 7 years off because of whatever reason, and you're getting back in. What you want to look at is what can you leverage from your past experience. Okay, and I mean, there is a way that you can show what you've been doing in the sabbatical years which is relevant to your job. I don't have time to get into that, but let me know, let STC know if you want a more advanced session into LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to get into it. But yeah, leverage on whatever you have done before. Okay. um, is the one next to it a good example? I don't know what you mean. If you can
Yeah,
unmute and
Sneh,
ask your question.
yeah, this is Snehal Maikar.
Yeah.
So you were showing the slide about power statements. Can you put
Yes.
that slide?
Yeah. And the question is, in the meantime,
Yeah, so I was referring to one of the statements that was shown on the slide. So I just,
Almost there. Thanks for your patience. Mm, okay, there you go.
oh
This
yeah.
one?
So yeah, so I was referring to the example next to the ROI statement,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
this one.
accomplished, yeah, corporate executive. So we are also mentioning some personal traits
Right.
and our hobbies in that statement. So
Yeah.
is that okay?
Again, why not? Because if you're a corporate executive, it's all about your company culture, right? A lot of people nowadays want companies, corporates want to blend your uh, personal and life with your home. They invite your kids to the office many times. You have family days on Friday. It's basically to make you feel very comfortable working in their environment, not only you but your family as well. And that could be one thing. But yeah, I mean, if it really is going to help me, maybe I'm a freelance yoga teacher, and then I can put a yoga instructor along with, but that is not my full-time job. But I still want people contacting me for my yoga instruction online, right?
Yeah,
So sure, I mean, this is just personalizing it and making someone sound a bit more human rather than a digital fingerprint
right. Yeah,
somewhere on LinkedIn. So absolutely, I don't believe in saying I'm a philately maniac, because it really doesn't. I don't do it either on a commercial scale, but I love stamps. Do I put it here? I don't. But this lady obviously, or this guy might be a yoga addict for a commercial purpose. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
okay, got it. And one
Uh,
more question I
yeah,
had
yeah,
was, in the beginning you were saying that if you are a fresher, and so you should not sound like too desperate for the job.
yeah.
So can you just give an example of how the introductory statement of a fresher should be on the LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? I'm actually going to take the liberty and taking um, your permission to show you my daughter's LinkedIn profile, because I've just started working with her.
Okay,
She's working on this. She's still in second year and she's not yet working. She's still studying, but she's started freelance editing, and she's a psychology student. She wants to go into criminal psychology and stuff like that. And she created this profile about 2 months ago, and right now she's working on two projects which she got directly from someone who searched her up and said, we are doing a revamp of content writing for my website, and Saloni, would you be interested in helping us with all the
okay,
content? And so you can go through that. And what you can say is, I'm currently doing full-time psychology. I'm an editor, voiceover artist. She gets a lot of voiceover gigs she does from home. But she's explained a little bit about what her thought process is, what interests her, what she likes, what she doesn't like, whatever she has learned so far, how has she learned it, right? So it says here, I also learned academic writing, which helped me, and how much I enjoyed. So that's why she started getting into editing thesis for PhD and masters and proposals and those kind of things. So instead of saying I can do this, I can do this, I can do this as a fresher, you can say this is what my passion is. This is what I love doing. This is what I would like to do for the next 10 years of my life. Okay.
right,
And also mention, if you the languages, because you want to showcase what you know, not what you don't know, or the lack of experience that you have, right? You have a lack of experience, you don't have a lot of it. So she has written a story here which I began editing academic papers while still continue to write my own research. And looking at this, the two people who contacted her, one was in healthcare, they are revamping their content, and the other person is starting out a social media platform for specifically for mental health and psychology related subjects. And that's all. I mean, what is she? She's in second year of her degree, undergraduate right now. But this is really important on your resume profile. You put your resume, but you also write, or you put articles that you have written, your research papers. She wrote something on anorexia, which I couldn't care less about, but there are people who, well, when I say that, because it's for my subject, it's not my subject, I don't understand anything about it, but there are people who are interested in these things, right? Um, and so when we were creating her profile, I said, write, give example. Don't just say I do academic writing. So she has actually put here, before and after samples of here's what the thesis was looking like before, and this is what it looks like now. So there's a lot of things that freshers can do. Don't think yourself as a fresher. Look at what skills you bring to the board and showcase them. Okay.
Got it.
And again, one of the biggest uh, things are going to be your resume. So make a very good resume and put it on your LinkedIn profile. Have a YouTube channel where you um, showcase things that you're learning as you're learning them, and just keep at it. Just keep improving your LinkedIn profile day by day. This is not an overnight thing. It's going to be over 6-7 months. It'll take you. Okay.
Right. Yep. Thank you so much for this
No problem.
exam. Thank you.
What is the best way to connect with recruiters or hiring managers? How to approach them for connection? So what I am going to do is I have some LinkedIn scripts that I have prepared for you guys, and this will cover most of your needs. I'm going to send them to you. Okay. Um, it's thank you messages, reaching out to someone who's local, reaching out to someone who has a common connection, and more often than not, it's people like those that you are reaching out to anyway, who's a recruiter, and you say, hey, we know this person, um, as a common friend. I'm looking for this job, would you be able to help out or something? Now, secondly, here's one email that I received just 3 or 4 days back. Okay. Some Saloni Pal, not my daughter, someone else. Job opportunity in Toronto. Kindly let me know if you're interested. And then she sent me this. So, do I know her? No, she actually sent me a connection request on July 9th. Okay, and obviously, then I talked to her and I said, can you share the JD? Because that JD I sent to my network in Toronto. Okay, and that is what matters. Now Saloni will get back to me regardless, and I actually went ahead and told her later that I'm not really looking for a job right now, but I've told her that I've shared the job description with the people, and recruiters appreciate that. They remember that next time she wants to hire someone, she will probably get in touch with me saying, Suman, I know you can't help, but can you still? I got a call, and I'm going to be sharing that job description. I got a call 2 days back from a company in Pune. They want freshers, and they said, Sumit, can you suggest someone? So I am going to send out that job description very soon on all the LinkedIn and whatever groups that I'm on WhatsApp. Uh, that's what happens. I can easily say I'm not looking for a job. Why should I waste my time, right? But I'm going to help her and post it. Um, does accepting connection from requests from unknown people who are not from the same field domain useful? I think I've talked about that. Ashwini, let me know if I've not covered it in enough detail. But absolutely, it's a resounding yes from my side. Because I showed you that Cox guy, the Ashley Cox and Caesar. I don't know either of them, right? I wouldn't have connected with them had it not been through some other connection that I am with, right? So absolutely, I never reject a connection because IDK. IDK is a LinkedIn lingo for I don't know. So do not connect with someone just because you don't know them. Yeah, if they start pestering you and started getting a bit cocky, you can always uh, you know uh, what do you call it, block them. But you can also let LinkedIn know that they are being a pest, and they will block them. Alpana, your question is, having done all the things that you've mentioned, how do I search for the job without any current company knowing? Um, Remember what I said right in the beginning, it's a passive job search. Looking at my profile, take a look at my profile and tell me, um, where do you see, or where do I tell Saloni, who contacted me for this technical writer opening, and why did she send me this Toronto technical writer opening? Because if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you see that everything is Toronto, Toronto, Toronto. I have not said Pune anywhere yet. I need to update my profile, but that's not because I don't know what to do. It's because I'm lazy. Okay. Why is she doing this? And how many of you know, or how many of my colleagues know that I've got this opening? No one. I'm talking to my colleagues right now. They're working with me right now. They are on this call, and none of them know. And I'm so open about it because I'm not looking, right? But these are the kinds of jobs you're going to get. And if you look down here, um, I can show you tons and tons of openings that I keep getting. I keep uh, I keep updating or cleaning up things off and on. But someone comes and says this about agile workshops, and no one really knows what I'm doing outside the office hours. It's all passive. Okay. Uh, but just, I mean, be ethical, of course. You don't want to be doing too many things and not disclose them. So that definitely is there, the ethics side. But I'm looking great problem in my office. Don't worry about that. Okay. Uh, there is an option on LinkedIn to just indicate that you're open. Is it suitable? Is it very subtle way of putting it out there available rather than adding looking for a job in your profile? Yeah, I mean, if someone is looking, then you're looking. But you can be looking without saying I'm looking. Correct? I mean, that's what the whole session was all about. Uh, when you put the right keywords in the right places, and you can always say that, open for um, projects or open for discussions and stuff like that. Yeah, as long as people know that you're looking, I wouldn't, it's your personal this thing. I always feel that when I tell people I'm looking, it's making me a little sound a bit desperate, and that might be my own bias. But um, again, it's a personal kind of a thing. um, there's a big post by Nipu here was responded to Ashwini, but I'll go on to the questions. Any other questions over there? Is it recommended to be a premium member of LinkedIn for more speedy job processing? My short answer is no, and I'll tell you why. You've seen my profile, or you've seen the kinds of activity that I am doing, right? And I have only had a premium profile once in my life, which was offered to me for free. Now I'm saving this reactivate premium for free. They'll give it to me for a month. I'm saving it for a time when I desperately need it. And right now, for the last, I joined LinkedIn on 2009. In 2009, last 10 years, I've had a premium profile one day, and that's it. 1 month, which was offered to me free at that time. You don't need it. You don't need it. If you do the kinds of things we have spoken about here, okay, all these things, um, getting recommendations, customizing. If you do all of this, you do not need whatever we have spoken today is completely free account. I don't suggest you spend $200-300 a month on doing that. Um, okay, thank you, Nibu. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about the LinkedIn SSI score? Um, I'll get back to that. When can we add the word cloud image? Where? Oh, the word cloud image is not really something you would add. You would peel out those keywords and put them in your resume, okay, and throughout your LinkedIn profile. You can make it, you can put this word cloud on your resume if you want, but the idea is not to copy and paste this word cloud as an image anywhere. The idea is to peel those keywords out and sprinkle them like salt all over your resume and your LinkedIn profile. Um, Thank you, Sangeeta. You can, okay, the next one is, okay, it's good to have two different LinkedIn profiles if you have expertise in two different fields. A lot of people do it. The problem is you have to work twice as hard to connect and grow your network, right? And when I have two profiles and you search for Sumedh, guess what, you won't know which Sumedh you're looking for. The guy is the same, but you're seeing that person in the context of two different things, two different contexts. I don't suggest that. Rather, I would say pick the two things that you really want to do. Maybe you're a technical writer and at in your free time you're a, I don't know, an insurance agent. Okay, customize or optimize your profile for both of these. Don't do it, try to do it for three or four different things, because that then dilutes it. But you can show your specialty in two things. I would just put it on a single profile and not on two different profiles. That is my take. Thank you, Lobas. Not recommended. Any other questions? I'm trying to go through this. Okay, Nikhil, Nibu is very active on this session. Thank you, Nibu, for answering a lot of these questions. Any other questions? Is recommendations a sort of barter system in the end? That good question. You will often see that two people have recommended each other, but when you go to a LinkedIn profile, okay, uh, when you go to a LinkedIn profile and you go down to your recommendation section, okay, all the way down, 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 and you don't really know that the people who, so I've received 42 and these are all. Can you tell looking at this whether I have recommended Andy? He recently recommended me. There wasn't any activity on my recommendations for a long time. I reached out to Andy. I'd worked with him in TD in Canada. Said, hey, dude, please do something here. And he just wrote it within 5 minutes. But I have not recommended him. Okay. So for me, no, it's not a barter system. Um, Alan was a student of mine in George Brown College. I've not recommended him. But he went and recommended me on his own. Of course, I asked people to recommend me, but I have asked a lot of people to recommend me, and not everyone has. So it's up to you to recommend or not. So for me, I don't think that it's a barter system. Okay.
Sumedh,
Yeah.
I think the meeting ends at 12:30. So
Yeah.
there's one great question at the end actually. I have got 30K connections and it does not permit me to add any further.
Yeah. Good on you, because that's the limit. 30K. LinkedIn does not permit you to have more than 30K connections, which is why now you have the hard task of going back and do some housekeeping, do some spring cleaning. So delete connections that you have not connected in, I don't know, past 5 years. It's like cleaning up your Gmail account when it says you're nearing your 15 GB. What do you get rid of? Heavy attachments, photos, videos that you have lying around in your Google Drive. So you have to start. That is a LinkedIn limitation. Okay, you cannot get more than 30,000 connections. And I think I've lost my link, my my feed. Any other questions, guys? We are over time, but I really appreciate your patience for those of you who are still hanging around.
So,
Anything else? Last minute questions? Otherwise, please get in touch with me. Let me know if you want another session for more advanced. We can have it.
Yes, Sumedh, while updating the scales, I
Yeah.
sometimes notice that I don't have an example right now, but I sometimes notice that a particular scale is not available in the drop down as an option. So, is there any way that I can
You
put it?
can just add it. You can add skills. Even others can add skills for you. So if I see that you are skilled in something but it doesn't show up, I can just add it for you. Absolutely. So just go around looking on your LinkedIn profile. You can actually add skills. You're talking about skills and endorsements and all that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can add it. I can get into that in more detail later if you want.
So
Sure, thanks.
So I think we should end the question answer sessions now, as we have
Okay.
everything. I can get back to Sumedh if you got individual questions, and he'll be more than happy to answer you and help you on that.
Yeah. So if you look at Nibu's last comment, please do some research on that. Sorry, we couldn't get into that. But here's my email again. Please feel free. If I can be of any help, let me know. And look forward to connecting with a lot of you and yeah, having some other session sometime. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for your time and giving up almost 2 hours of your weekend for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing
Thanks.
your wonderful experiences and case studies.
No problem. Most welcome.
Eye-opening experience listening to such hidden information.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is not something you will just regularly find on LinkedIn. These are all street smart kind of ways that I've so good. Thanks.
So I hope all benefit from his experience, and will be shortly circulating the recordings. Okay, so those of you who has a question of recording will be circulating that.
Perfect. Look forward to that.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Sumedh. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.